Coach Tom Sermanni. Tom, as usual, could you just start us off with your thoughts on tonight?
It's hard to know where to start tonight. I think we probably should have had the game over by half-time. We dominated the game, played really well in the first half. We've hit the woodwork twice. And then we had a real flat spell during the second half where we allowed them to come back in the game, and we seemed to lose energy and seem to lose our way a little bit, and they get back in the game. They're always a very dangerous team on the break, and we talked about that. So there was a time when I think we could have had the game won, and there was a time when we could have had the game lost. But I think a great deal of credit to our players, the way that we finished the game at the end. That last 5 to 10 minutes, we really got a second win, second burst of energy, managed to hit the woodwork again. So disappointed that we never got 3 points, but I would have been extremely disappointed if we didn't get something out of the game.
All right, we'll now open up to questions. Start with Melissa.
Coach, what went into your decision to bring in Krieger and as well as
Alex?
Yes, Alex, especially this soon after, they just got back from the Tournament of Nations.
Well, a couple of things. One is that Ali Krieger didn't play a minute in the tournament, so basically she's been away for 2 weeks, and as I said, I've been on holiday in the West Coast, chilling out at Redondo Beach for a couple of days. So, she was ready to go, completely ready to go. Alex, hasn't played a full 90 minutes, so she played, I think, 30, 60 and 30. So it made sense to start those two, given the fact that we had 7 players over there. So unlike other teams, we were really hit hard by by this tournament. So that was the reasons. Ideally we didn't want to play Alex for 90 minutes, but circumstances changed. With Rachel getting injured, that was a real blow to us, and it meant Alex had to go for that 90 minutes.
Go to Mike in the back, and then to Lewis.
Guys are too slow up front.
Well, actually, I did want to follow with that. Is there an update on Rachel Hill? Obviously, she left the game early and also brought back Marta as well, who also played in the Tournament of Nations. So
yeah, well, Marta played a week ago. She didn't play in the midweek game, so she played last weekend. So again, she had 7 days or 6 days between games. So it was hard enough keeping her on the bench. So we always had a plan for her to be able to come in and play 30 or 40 minutes. What did you have to?
The status on Rachel Hill.
Oh yes, sorry. She's got a bit of an ankle sprain. It doesn't look too serious at this stage, but it will depend kind of how it swells up. But at the moment, the initial prognosis is quite positive. Obviously, I would say should be a no for the midweek game and probably a no for next weekend, but it doesn't seem to be a particularly nasty ankle sprain at this time.
Go to Lewis and to Shane in the back.
Is there a way to describe how unlucky you guys have been against Chicago this year? hit the bar twice, hit the post in the 86th minute, and then the previous games as well?
Yeah, I don't know if there is a word. Sometimes you just come up against teams that results either go for you or go against you, and Chicago seem to be one of these teams. But what they are and what they're very good at, Chicago, is that they don't give up. They keep very disciplined. They've had I think the key thing about Chicago, if you look at them, is that they've had an unbelievably stable team for a couple of years. And you can see the familiarity with them playing with one another and the confidence they have in playing with one another. So they're always a very difficult team to play against. But as I say, in another day, a couple of those ones that hit the crossbar go in, we win the game. So I don't know. One of these, we're getting closer.
Shane in the back, then Christian.
I apologize. I don't mean to be negative, but more than once you had a bad pass and were able to get out of it, but on the goal you weren't. So
Shane, that's not been negative at all. It's been one of our Achilles heels, and it's been one of the things that we have spoken about, brought up in meetings. Try to eliminate from the team, but it's one of those things that you really don't have any control over. If a player goes out on the field and decides to pass the ball straight to the opposition, it's kind of one of those things that are over before you start. One of the issues that we have is that because we actually, do try to play and possess the ball, we might be a little bit more susceptible to giving it away. But we also, and again, we spoke about this before the game, we also seem to be, when we do it, get punished for it and get punished fairly quickly. And that happened again tonight. And I can probably, if I break down all the goals for the season, and I did that a few weeks ago, the number of goals that have come from us giving the ball away in our own third or close to our own third is significant. If you take them out and you take penalties out, we haven't conceded that many goals at all. So I would love to stand here and say, this is how we eliminate that. But until players start making better decisions or better execution, I don't know how to. I really don't know how to fix it, unless we stop trying to play football.
Go to Christian in the front, and then to Victor.
It wasn't a negative question, by the way. It's a good question.
Steph Catley wasn't listed as available. Is that an injury issue or just rest from the tournament?
No, this is so, and it was really important because I would have been tempted to bring her on. Monica and Steph played 390 minutes, so it would have been, I think, it would have been unwise to have put them on the field tonight. So although both of them were desperate to be there and play, our 7 players wanted to play tonight, but we've got a duty of care to make sure that they stay healthy, particularly in a week where we've got 3 games. And we had Steph, if I had her on the bench tonight, I would have been very, very tempted when Rachel Hill went down to bring her on at left back and put Chi on up front. But if I'd done that and she ended up pulling a hamstring because of fatigue, I'd have kicked myself. So that was the reason that we didn't play them. It was really to look after their welfare.
Go to Victor, and then over here.
Coach, Maddie Evans played, I believe, in her 90 minutes, and then I think her 4th start this season. Obviously this past week, depleted roster, with players gone and everything. And can you just talk about how significant she was or how integral she was during this week in preparation, if at all?
Yeah, very important. I mean, it's been, and I've had several meetings with Maddie. It's been a very frustrating season for her because she has been a regular player in the NWSL for 5 years, and this season it's been difficult for her to get a starting spot in the team. But she's still a critical part of our team and our squad, and a very important part of our team and our squad. And she plays an important role every day she turns up at training, to be honest. Even though she is disappointed that she hasn't had more starts, she turns up regardless every day and gives 100%, supports her team, supports her teammates, and is an absolute consummate professional. So I think, and you saw tonight, she's come into the team and not started for quite some time and played a full 90 minutes and put in a great shift.
We'll go over to Augie, and then we'll finish up with Lise.
Coach, with 8 games remaining in the NWSL season and the next 2 of those coming at home, how much do you feel like the time is now for your team to start making a run into playoff position?
100%. Without doubt, it's 100%. We wanted to get 9 points out of these 3 games. We knew tonight's game was going to be difficult. We need to get 6 points out of these next 2 games. That is just, it's one of those where when you start talking about coming down to must-win games, we're now coming down to must-win games. Even though mathematically that might not be the case, in real terms, that is the case. We are coming down now to games that we must win. Simple as that.
Yeah, finish up with us here in the front.
How would you assess Chi's performance tonight? It looked like she was playing a left back, and her deliveries into the box were great. And then she had, in the build-up play, her pass to Spencer before the goal.
I thought she did really well. I thought she had an excellent game. She was really apprehensive about playing there. And obviously she's an attacker. She wants to be further forward. But again, I thought her passing was good. I thought her defending was good. I thought she used the ball well. So, and as I say, she got into some really good crossing positions and was a real danger down that side. So, given that basically she's never played at left back, to my knowledge, didn't want to play there. We've put her in there with virtually no preparation, because we've had only half a team this week to prepare for this game. I thought she had a fantastic game.
Thank you, Tom.
You can tell her that. Is she coming in?
She is.
You can say, we're looking at playing her in there next or at centre back.